Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From now until June 17th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a Modern Horizons booster box. Also, there is a way to enter the drawing with no purchase necessary. See the description below for the full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. We had another week of Modern Horizons previews, and we now know all the cards that are in the set. And much like the previous week, there are some card price jumps due to the information we learned. Not quite as turbulent as we saw in the last episode, but there's still a lot going on in the market. We're going to cover all of it for you. Quick reminder, though, before we get started, if you're looking for Modern Horizons singles, they do have a lot of them on FlipsideGaming.com, and you can use that Heroes promo code. Hopefully you can save a little money while you support the channel. That's always appreciated. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. Top 5 standard legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 5, Kaya Orzhov Usurper goes down $1.02 to $13.99. She is seeing a lot of play, especially in Modern, Esper Control, Mardu Pyromancer, and many more decks there. In Standard, you'll find her in Esper Control. The issue is, and I mentioned this over the last couple of weeks, she's not like a 4 of in all these decks. She's more like a 1 to 2 of between the main and the sideboard. So even though she is showing up in a lot of places, the quantities aren't super high. So I do think she's going to lose a little more value before she does stabilize. Number 4 is Liliana Dreadhorde General, down $1.09 to $25.76. This one's kind of interesting because this card is seeing a lot of standard play right now. You can find her in Esper midrange, 4-color Dreadhorde, Esper Control, Golgari midrange. She even showed up in a Modern Dimir Control deck. We'll have to see if that continues in the future. Now, the reason she's still losing value, though, is because even though she is a mythic rare, a lot of War of the Spark has been open. A lot continues to be open. It is a very popular set. So she is stabilizing, trying to find her price point. I don't expect her to drop all that much, though, before she stabilizes, leading into the switch over to a lot of people turning their attention now from War of the Spark to Modern Horizons. Number 3 is God Eternal Kefnet, down $1.29 to $13.99. In some ways, this is similar. You have a mythic rare from War of the Spark, but there's a big difference here. This card isn't seeing as much play. I think the expectations on this card were pretty high. I actually thought it would see play in more places than it has been seeing. But for the most part, it's in Grix's control. It's great there, but you're not seeing it show up in a whole lot of other places. There are a few other decks trying it here or there, but it doesn't seem to stick. It doesn't seem to be consistent yet. With that being said, I do think as we move later into the season and into the next season, this card will eventually find more places to show up. But for right now, it's a little soft. Number 2, Nicol Bolas Dragon God goes down $1.53 to $20.51. Similar story as the previous card. Seems really good in Grix's control, but doesn't show up in a whole lot of other places right now. Because of that, as well as the fact that a lot of packs are being opened and it already has a high price point, I would expect this to lose more value in the coming weeks. Number 1, Nicol Bolas the Ravager, down $2.36 to $34.99. Pretty much the same story, great in Grix's control. And this one is closer to rotation than the other cards we just looked at. Time for the top 5 Teferi cards that have gained value this week, or as many of you like to call it, the top 5 standard legal cards. Number 5, Teferi Time Raveler goes up $1.09 to $17. Now here's a rare from War of the Spark, still climbing, even though a lot of packs are being open, just because this card is just taking the world by storm right now. Let's talk standard first. Esper midrange, 4-color Dreadhorde, Jeskai Planeswalkers, Esper Control, Azorius Aggro, Bamp midrange. Modern, you'll find this card in Azorius Control, Jeskai Saheeli. Legacy, it's showing up in Miracles. This thing is everywhere. Number 4 is Watery Grave from Guilds of Ravnica, up $1.45 to $19.43. Probably the most used Shockland right now when you look at the big standard mana bases. Esper midrange, 4-color Dreadhorde, Esper Control, Grixis Control, and more. Also sees Modern play too. Number 3, Teferi Hero of Dominaria, up $2.13 to $47.45. This card has been on our lists, I feel like, every week forever now. You know what it does, right? Esper midrange, 4-color Dreadhorde, Jeskai Planeswalkers, Esper Control, and plenty of Modern Control play too. Number 2, Scapeshift Morningtide goes up $2.53 to $16.19, with Magic 2019 going up $2.60 to $13.83. Now, this isn't moving up really because of Standard, it's more because of Modern. Great, obviously, in the Titan Shift deck currently, but there's a lot of speculation that Modern Horizons is going to make this card better. We saw a lot of cards that interact very well with lands. A few examples are things like Tectonic Reformation and Wrenn and 6. There's others too we're going to talk about as the video goes on, but it does have a lot of people thinking about possible decks in the future for Modern, as well as even improving on some commander strategies. On top of all that, the Manosaurus actually did a video recently talking about cards you should pick up. Scapeshift is one of them, and our number one card is another one, so that extra attention may also be contributing a little bit to the price increase here. Number one is Crucible of Worlds, almost the same story again. 5th Dawn up 432 to 2549, 10th edition up 462 to 2604, Magic 2019 up 542 to 2499. This is already a great Modern Legacy casual card, sees commander play, little vintage play too. I was a little surprised the Magic 2019 copy stayed as low as it did for a while, but the reason they're all jumping again is due to Modern Horizons and a lot of these cards that interact with lands. The Gros colors in particular have a lands in the Graveyard Matters theme, and aside from that, we found out that these cards were now going to join the Modern format. The Onslaught Cycle lands, these are going to work great with Crucible of Worlds in that format. Alright, I think we moved to Modern 2 cards ago, but let's make it official. The top 5 Modern legal cards that have lost value this week. Before we get to our top 5 though, I do have one honorable mention. It is Fist of the Suns. This is the one from 5th Dawn. Going down 266 this week to 1285, and this card was spiking very heavily last week, so you're getting a normalization week here. This was moving because of the introduction of Morophon the Boundless about a week ago. Number 5 is Ugin the Spirit Dragon, down 310 to 7994. Ugin has spiked again recently because of Karn the Great Creator. A lot of colorless decks just got better, and that was true of Modern, that was true of Legacy, it was true of Vintage and Commander. But especially in Ugin's case, you're going to find this card in Modern Tron builds and Legacy Post decks. Number 4 is Unwinding Clock. This is the one from Commander 2018, down 336 to 1061. Now this card spiked pretty heavily last week, and you're seeing a retraction this week, but it does have to do with the interaction with Urza Lord High Artificer. A lot of people are brewing around that card right now, mostly for Commander currently, but maybe a Modern brew could come out of it too. We'll have to see. This won't be the last time we talk about Urza in this video either. Number 3, Scalding Tarn for Modern Masters 2017 goes down $5.75 to $100.09. This is in so many important mana bases. Is it Phoenix and Dredge are two of the big ones, but so many other Modern, Legacy, and Vintage decks too. But you know what? I think this card finally just hit a ceiling. I think people will look at this and say, you know what? I'll just go ahead and play a different Modern deck that doesn't use Scalding Tarn. Number 2, Sliver Legion goes down $8.30 this week to $114.99. This card has been spiking very aggressively, obviously, so we do get another normalization week. I explain this every few weeks on the channel, but just in case you're not aware, basically what happens here is these cards will have a huge spike due to some sort of catalyst. In this case, it was the introduction of the first Sliver about a week ago. So a lot of players would go out and try to pick up Sliver Legion for either a casual deck or a commander deck or maybe even a Modern brew, and they dry up in the marketplace. Well, the next step is you see the spike occur, and people look at their collections. They say, wow, this card was worth nothing a few years ago. Now it's worth over $100. I have like 3 of them sitting in a binder I never use. They're going to go ahead and take those cards, bring them into the market, whether they sell them themselves, sell them to a store, trade them with friends, whatever. They get back into circulation, and you see the snapback. So this is very normal. Still a huge increase in value, though, from where we were before the spike. Number 1 is Reaper King, down $9.01 to $24.99. Now, of course, being a Shadowmoor card, this card got a little spiky when we saw Morophon the Boundless a couple weeks ago. I'm going to use my one per video. Shadowmoor cards came from a time when there was a lower print run compared to other Modern era Magic sets, so it doesn't take a whole lot to really throw off one of these rares, and that's what we saw a couple weeks back. Now things are normalizing a little bit. Again, it's not going to go back down to where it was pre-spike anytime soon for sure, but it is coming down quite a bit. Okay, let's move on to the top 5 Modern legal cards that have gained value this week. We do have some honorable mentions though, 3 of them. The first is Jace the Mind Sculptor from Eternal Masters, up $3.48 to $128.99. Part of the reason this is going up is simply because people looked at Modern Horizons. We're getting some new counter spells. Maybe the control decks in Modern get better. So some people are going to gravitate back towards Jace again. Jace is also kind of going up and down as it's trying to find its proper price point because it does see a lot of play. Modern is in Phoenix decks and control decks, Legacy Miracles. That's really just to name a few. This also shows up in some vintage decks, and it's a good commander card too. Isochron Scepter is our second honorable mention. Eternal Masters goes up $3.35 to $15.28. Meriden goes up $4.32 to $13.04. So we talked about this last week, but it's a combo for Urza. You take this, Urza, Dramatic Reversal, and some mana rocks, and you have endless mana. Urza likes the endless mana because you can take that mana, put it into his 5 ability, and just play your whole deck, basically. So that's something a lot of people are thinking about putting together for competitive Commander especially. Now, this particular combo has been picked up by content creators over the last few weeks, so there's been some mentions of this in YouTube videos and such. So that has really spread the word on this card and that particular combo. Another card that was previewed this week that actually interacts well with this one in Commander is Tribute Mage. You can go ahead and search Isochron Scepter up with this. Last honorable mention is Ensnaring Bridge. This is the one from 8th edition, going up 432 to 5650. All of these cards have been climbing. This one was kind of lagging behind a little bit, but it's catching up now. Karn the Great Creator has really had a big influence on a lot of these colorless cards and colorless decks out there. You're going to find this one, though, in modern Tron decks out of the sideboard a lot of the times. Modern Mono Red Prison decks in the main. Legacy Post decks will play this and more. This can show up in Vintage, too. Number 5, Sedge Sliver goes up 448 to 2350. A number of slivers are still going up this week, even though some of them are retracting a little bit from the previous spikes. This one continues to stay hot. A lot of people want to play casual or Commander slivers with the new cards from Modern Horizons. And like I said earlier, I don't know if you're going to see a top tier sliver deck in Modern or anything like that, but people are going to try. Number 4, Wormcoil Engine. This is the one from Commander 2014, up 454 to 3495. Again, another card moving because of Karn the Great Creator. You're going to find this in Modern Tron decks. I mean, those are good decks regardless of Karn the Great Creator or not. Also in Legacy, this is in Post decks and others, and this will show up in Vintage too. Number 3, the original Triskelion from Antiquities goes up 659 to 5965. Probably just moving because it's an old Antiquities card, harder and harder to find in good condition. Obviously, there's recent reprints of this that are nowhere near as expensive. Number 3, Higer the Still Wins. Plane Chase 2012 goes up 424 to 1227. Plane Chase Anthology up $10.05 to $15. Betrayers of Kamigawa up $10.80 to $14.99. So you know why this is going up. We saw lots of ninjas this week in Modern Horizons. A week ago, we saw maybe one of the bigger ones, Fallen Shinobi, but a lot of folks want to play casual ninjas. They want to play Commander ninjas. So many of the older ones are spiking now. Number 1, Life from the Loam. 4 copies here. Ultimate Masters up $9.11 to $22.86. Modern Masters up $9.43 to $25. Dual Decks Izzet vs. Golgari up $9.65 to $24.99. Ravnica, City of Guilds up $11.53 to $29.91. Alright, so we're talking about all the cards from Modern Horizons that interact with lands. We looked at the Cycle Lands from Onslaught coming into Modern. So obviously Life from the Loam is getting very, very hot right now. Another card I haven't mentioned yet, Hall of Heliod's Generosity. This is a card that you could play with like a Loam Seismic Assault style deck. And if you happen to mill your Seismic Assault, this gets it back. Just something else I thought I'd throw out there for you. Vintage Spotlight. This is where we look at cards that are seeing play in Vintage, Legacy, 93, 94, but we also look at cards that are just important to collectors. First, we have a card going down in value. Flusterstorm from Commander goes down 310 to 34.97. So this card got really hot when we found out it was going to be in Modern Horizons, although it's not going to be in packs. It's going to be the buy box promo, so keep that in mind. But now that the hype is dying down a little bit and people are realistically thinking about how many copies they would need for sideboards and such, this is calming down. Okay, now for cards going up, we have Volcanic Island from Revised going up $4.99 to $454.99. This is on the reserve list. And yeah, dual lands from the Revised have been hot. This one actually hasn't moved as much as some of the other ones because it does have a higher price probably, but this week it jumps up a little bit. A lot of unlimited cards have gotten hot again, and if you've been watching the show for a while, you know that that has been a trend for a number of months. Meekstone from Unlimited goes up $18.97 to $57. Mox Diamond, this is on the reserve list, although From the Vault Relics did have a copy of this in foil before they kind of closed that loophole in the reserve list. But the one from Stronghold goes up $19.74 this week to $239.99. Good legacy cards. He's playing a number of different decks actually, including lands. Back to unlimited cards that are finding new price points. This is Navineral's Disc. It goes up $22.81 to $197.01. Scrubland from Unlimited goes up $35.66 this week to $359.32. This is on the reserve list, of course, but there was a printing in Revised. Another card that is on the reserve list, but also in Revised, is Plateau. This is the one from Unlimited, going up $49.99 to $524.99. Lion's Eye Diamond, also on the reserve list, goes up $52.01 to $249.84. That's quite a jump for this card. This sees play in some legacy decks, things like Storm. Also, you're going to find this in Vintage Storm too. But the reason it's moving this week is because of a Modern Horizons card, which stands to make this even better in Legacy and maybe even Vintage, and that's Echo of Eons. Now, basically, you crack the diamond for 3 mana, say blue mana, for example, discard your hand, discard Echo Vions, and guess what? You have Time Twister, basically. Take that 3 mana, and you get to Time Twist. Combine that with everybody's favorite new Planeswalker, Narset, Parter of Veils. You're the only one drawing cards. Feels like kind of the crazy broken thing that you'd see happen in Vintage or Legacy, right? Mox Emerald from Unlimited, of course, on the reserve list, goes up $1,236.50 to $3,472.50. Now, this is moving mostly because there's a really high listing out there right now. It is an Earman copy, but the seller is asking for an extremely high price, so it's throwing off the market data a little bit this week. They might just be putting a high price out there looking for an offer. Time for our Commander Spotlight. As always, we have a lot of cards, so I'm going to go kind of quick here. I'm not going to give all the gory details about each card, but I'm going to try to hit you with the highlights. Cruel Tutor from Portal goes up $1.03 to $45.89. A lot of tutors on our list again. They are very popular right now. Send Triplets. This is just always a popular Commander card, up $1.04 to $39.30. Aiden Oakenshield. This is a reserve list Gold Legends card. I like to point out when those are going up. This goes up $1.10 to $77. Arkham Daxon goes up $1.15 to $16.19. This is a card to keep an eye on. There's a lot of Commander players interested in this. It kind of started off with people wanting to play like Persistent Petitioners for a while. Then Bolas's Citadel came out. Then there was Karn the Great Creator, of course, too. And then most recently, now we have Urza coming out, and that has really caught people's eye. I would expect this one to go up some more. Manamo School at Water's Edge goes up $1.15 to $27.91. Another card that has some crossover appeal. For a while, it was all about Prime Speaker, Vannifar, and Commander. People were playing this card in those builds. More recently in Commander, people are thinking about Blink decks, and this is kind of fitting into some of those strategies right now. Of course, that's coming from the Azorius cards we saw previewed in Modern Horizons. And even aside from that, Adrian Sullivan did an article this week on ChannelFireball.com looking at some modern brews that happened to include this card and some new cards from Modern Horizons. Those brews were Esper Dragons and Ojutai Control, so put it all together and there's just more attention on the card this week. Skithrix, the Blight Dragon. This goes up $1.16 to $27.99, and this is moving because of a card previewed this week in Modern Horizons. That is Yawgmoth Thran Physician. Got some people thinking about Infect and Commander. Chrome Mox from Meriden goes up $1.18 to $38.67. Now this card does see a little bit of legacy play, but it's also a good Commander card. With Urza, this is basically a Mox Sapphire. Norwood Priestess from Portal Second Age goes up $1.18 to $41.23. Green Commander cards have been pretty hot over the last few months, and this is one that's kind of hard to find in good condition. Ghostway up $1.19 to $13.99. I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are trying to build Blink decks now for Commander. Well, part of the reason, not the whole reason, but part is Astral Drift. This is a card that a lot of people are trying to brew for a Modern deck as well, so we'll have to kind of see what happens with this going forward. They gave us a lot of tools in Modern Horizons. We'll have to see if the deck can get there, though. Gate to Phyrexia. Now, this could be going up because it's a reserve list Antiquities card. It goes up $1.20 this week to $37.64. But it's also a decent Commander card, especially in a time where everybody's focused so much on artifacts. This card saw a little more play in those Teysa builds recently, too. Mist Hollow Griffin goes up $1.22 to $4.99. Okay, this week on the Command Zone podcast, they mentioned the combo between this and Food Chain, which is kind of a classic combo, but it was kind of talked about in regards to Urza, another way to get unlimited mana for Urza to go off. So this card jumps up a little bit this week. Another reason some people have been looking at this card is because it is a blue card you could pitch to Force of Negation and then still be able to actually play later. Bone Scythe Sliver, yep, another sliver, goes up $1.29 to $4.79. Idyllic Tutor, another tutor here, goes up $1.30 to $34.99. Wasteland, of course, this sees Legacy, Vintage, and Commander play. The one from Eternal Masters goes up $1.31 to $47.57. Mana Severance goes up $1.38 to $12.57. This card's been popular recently because of Jace Wielder Mysteries, Bolas's Citadel, and now most recently Urza. Sliver Hive Lord, another sliver here, up $1.40 to $39.48. This one has slowed down a little bit, but it hasn't gone down yet. Sapphire Medallion from Commander 2014 makes our list again, going up $1.47 to $10.90. Awesome card for the Urza deck because you play it for 2, blue spells cost 1 less, and then you can also tap it for blue mana, kind of like a Mox because you have Urza in play. Very efficient card in that deck. And the Commander 2014 cycle of these medallions does appear to be the preferred art. Land Tax, this is the one from 4th edition, going up $1.50 to $26.50. Another big Commander card. This has been on our list, and other versions of this have been on our list for a number of weeks now. Craterhoof Behemoth from Modern Masters 2017 goes up $1.51 to $36.63. Now this does see a little legacy and even a tad bit of modern play, like an Elf Dex for example, but it's also a good Commander card. The original Eladamri's Call from Plane Shift goes up $1.60 to $7.19. We found out that this is being reprinted in Modern Horizons this week, and it is going to be Modern Legal going forward. So a lot of these cards that are getting the reprints, seems a lot of people are going back trying to pick up the original versions of them. Winter Orb, this is the one from Eternal Masters, going up $1.66 to $15.94, another card that's being played in the Urza builds. Talia of the Vast from Commander goes up $1.82 to $24.12, a very popular tribal card. A lot of people are thinking about Dragon Tribal Commander decks again because of Morph on the Boundless and the combo with Fist of the Suns. This card does bump up a little bit this week. I think that's part of the reason, at least. Also, some players are looking harder at Demon decks with Liliana's Contract because of some of the new Changeling cards for Modern Horizons. Demonic Tutor from Ultimate Masters goes up $203 to $29.74. Great card for Vintage, also another excellent tutor for Commander. This is another one of those cards that was in that Mana Source video we talked about earlier. Renewing Touch from Portal Second Age goes up $207 to $341, probably mostly moving because it's a Portal Second Age card, and these are just getting harder to find in good condition. This also has Rebecca Gay art. Another Sliver moving with Psionic Sliver up $228 to $522. Food Chain, I mentioned this earlier, of course, going up $220 to $44.99. Urza might stand to make it better, but it's already a great Commander card and sees a little legacy play too. Zan Tamar, this is on the reserve list. It goes up $234 to $185. Brood Sliver, yet another Sliver, goes up $240 to $699. Deranged Hermit goes up $259 to $1659. This is on the reserve list. So this did get a mention on the Command Zone podcast this week, but a lot of people are just thinking about squirrels right now because of Deep Forest Hermit from Modern Horizons. Man of Vaults, alright, 3 copies here. Revised goes up $1.74 to $28.79. 4th edition goes up $250 to $27.08. Ultimate Masters up $279 to $39.09. Great Commander card, especially with the focus recently on colorless Commander decks. Also sees Vintage play, of course, and another card that was talked about in that video by the Mana Source. Rhystic Study from Prophecy goes up $284 to $22.76. Classic Commander card here. Probably not a coincidence that it's a blue card as people are trying to build around Urza right now. Helix Pinnacle goes up $289 to $24.87, and this one is moving because of a new Modern Horizons card, Unbound Flourishing. Feels like it could be fun to try to pull that off in Commander. Gaia's Avenger, this is a reserve list Antiquities card going up $307 to $39.83. Probably mostly moving because it's on the reserve list. The power and toughness is 1/1 plus the amount of artifacts that opponents have in play. That's what the Oracle text says on this one. So I just thought it was kind of cool in a world where people are playing with Urza and Karn the Great Creator right now to potentially have a very large creature for just 3 mana. Walker of Secret Ways, here's another ninja card. Betrayers of Kamigawa goes up $2 to $5. Plane Chase Anthology up $336 to $9.95. Enlightened Tutor from 6th edition, another tutor card here, goes up $339 to $28.44. Second Chance, this is on the reserve list. It goes up $351 to $850. This card was mentioned on the Command Zone podcast as something that could combo with Hall of Heliod's Generosity, which we saw earlier. Scroll Rack from Tempest, another classic Commander card, goes up $375 to $60. This is showing up in some Urza builds, also another card you could fetch for with Tribute Mage, which we saw earlier. Many times you'll find Scroll Rack in her deck too. Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow goes up $395 to $1525. And as you can imagine, a lot of people are just excited to get some new ninjas in Commander. Tectonic Instability goes up $412 to $724. You'll find this in Zozu and Xantcha builds in Commander, and in Oathbreaker, this is in Chandra Torch of Defiance decks. Thran Turbine goes up $421 to $589. This card has been mentioned in Commander's Quarters recently, and it is another card you could play in Urza. For a while, it was kind of a budget card that actually was decent in Commander. Does take a pretty big jump this week, though. Mana Echoes, perfect for Sliver decks. This goes up $711 to $28.49 this week. Synapse Sliver, another important sliver here, goes up $753 to $1797. Kess Dissonant Mage. Now, this is from Commander 2017, and it was only available as a foil. Goes up $943 to $1642. We found out she is being printed in Modern Horizons, so she will be Modern Legal going forward. And again, a lot of people are going back trying to grab original copies of many of those cards. Tainted Pact. This card has been hot ever since Jace Wielder Mysteries has come out, but this week it almost doubles in price, going up $9.87 to $21.21. Angus McKenzie, another one of these reserve list cards from Legends. This goes up $16.29 to $190.99. Good pillow fort card. All right, time for the Pauper Spotlight. A couple cards to look at. The first one is Guardian of the Guild Pact, up 10 cents to 56 cents. You're going to find this in Boros Aggro and Orzhov Pestilence Control. And, of course, Scred going up again this week, up 54 cents to $2.96. You'll find this one in Izzet Control. Now, granted, the Pauper bannings may shift some things in the format. However, this card is positioned well. It is getting some new tools to play with because of Modern Horizons. All the snow-covered lands were being reprinted in that set, too. So they'll be a little more affordable, too, going forward. Okay, time for our premium spotlights. And, okay, the quick disclaimer here. You hear it every week. I don't like to spend too much time on foils. A lot of times when you look at online pricing, it can be very misleading if there's not a lot of copies of the card out there. Those prices can be easily manipulated, but I like to pick one every week to talk about. This time it's Maze of Ith. From the Vault Realms goes up $41.98 to $65. Eternal Masters foil goes up $117.45 to $142.50. Now with the extra attention on lands, maybe people are thinking, okay, perhaps Legacy Lands gets a little better, something like that. But this just feels like a buyout to me. And that's what you got to be careful of, because there are so few copies of some of these cards out there at any given time. If somebody sees this, they may take their copies, put them for sale, and the price could drop very quickly on something like this. So pay close attention to these type of spikes. Many times they're unstable. All right, with that being said, that is the Market Watch for today. Hey, until next time, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.